and welcome back for day 7 of the Advent Calendar Spin Along. I'm Jess, and this is Piano Spun Yarns, and we are in the middle of Advent, which means every day I am spinning yarn from the World of Wool Advent Calendar, the Fiber Edition. The Fiber Edition this year is based on Christmas characters, so every day we get a little bit of fiber that is based off of a Christmas character. We get to learn why and how that blend was created, and then I spin it into a yarn to make these little Advent Calendar stockings. Yesterday was day 6, and our character was Jack Frost, and our yarn was this really beautiful kind of solid light blue shade that has all of this stellina in it, so it's sparkling. I used just kind of like a cerulean blue as our contrast color for our 6 and for our little snowflake on the back. So I'm going to add this to the wall behind me. Lucy's decided that she's going to join me. Lucy is now deaf. Last year, she was a part of recording a lot more often because she got really upset if I'm talking to myself. She didn't like it. But now most of the time if I'm recording, she can't hear me, so she doesn't usually get involved. All right, let's grab our bag for day 7 and see what character we're looking at. You want to purr into the microphone? Oh, you're gone? Bye. So day 7 is yet to come, and our blend is alpaca, llama, merino, and kid mohair. Yet to come, obviously referring to A Christmas Carol, the classic Charles Dickens novel, and the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is the final ghost of the 3 that Ebenezer Scrooge meets on the night of Christmas Eve. He's kind of the harbinger of death. He often is depicted as a very grim, reapery looking character. He doesn't talk in most renditions. He just kind of points to a grim future. So to me, this is probably going to be full of a lot of black. Alpaca and llama both have natural black color variations. And then the merino and kid mohair might add just a little something extra. So let's see what it looks like and then find out why it looks the way it does. I should have guessed. So World of Wool has a line of blends that are called Humbug, and they're all kind of this natural color stripy blends. And I think they're based off a candy that we do not have here, but apparently Humbugs are like a stripy hard candy. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I've never had one. But this reminds me a lot of their Humbug variety. It would make sense that it's copying their Humbug line because Humbug is a famous thing that Ebenezer Scrooge says. So we'll see if I'm right about anything I just said when we read. But this is such a dense, luxury, soft, beautiful feeling fiber. Let's just split it in half here. It's hard to even split it in half. It's falling apart. Day 7, yet to come. 50% merino, 25% alpaca, 12.5% llama, and 12.5% kid mohair. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come has been terrifying readers and watchers of A Christmas Carol for over 180 years. There's no doubt responsible for a fair few individuals vowing to mend their ways during the Christmas period. This dark, stoic character alludes to the demise of Ebenezer Scrooge while never speaking a single word, merely pointing or nodding from beneath its dark cowl. The sheer terror of this reality is the final part of Scrooge's redemption arc, and, having met this ghost, yes, it's death, the story of A Christmas Carol starts to draw to an end. The ghost of Christmas Yet to Come creeps us out, so we wanted a blend that did the opposite. We created a blend of fibers that is dark to represent the character, but also soft and opulent so that it's still enjoyable. Natural gray and black merino make up the base, with additions of alpaca, llama, and kid mohair to lighten the color and produce some defined stripes along the length of the top. All of these fibers have a soft handle, with the kid mohair adding a welcome sheen alongside the darker shades. We've only blended this combination a few times as we wanted to give our crafters the ability to make this shade as solid or variegated as they liked through their work. I think I'm going to spin it as it is and see the stripes kind of come out of it. And then when I knit it with a contrast color, I'll just pick a really bright color, maybe the red or green, so that no matter where we are in that kind of variegated stripe, it'll always contrast against the contrast color. While I spin today, I'm also going to tell you about one of my favorite recent, well, come on, don't just yell at me from across the room. Thank you. While I spin today, I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite recent additions to the Christmas Carol movie line. So, and I am going to tie it back to music. I don't think I can get away with playing any music from this movie, but that is Spirited, available on Apple TV. I love this movie so much, I will share it with anyone. Good. We love good, Lucy, good. So while I spin today, I'm just going to give you a little information specifically on the creation and music in that movie because it's so good and it really is what I think a movie musical should be. So I'm going to set up the wheel and get spinning, and I'll give you a little bit of a voiceover about that movie. So I'll see you when the wheel is set up. Give me just a second. I've got a cat on my lap. So Spirited is such an interesting Christmas movie because it's based around the Christmas Carol, but it's not a really modern retelling of a Christmas Carol. It assumes that Christmas Carol happened in real life the exact way that it presents itself in the story, but it is now modern times. And the director, Sean Anders, said that he wanted to see a movie where the ghosts are the protagonists because they're the ones doing all the work in A Christmas Carol, right? So he created this world where the ghosts from A Christmas Carol not only have gone on to continue this work, but they kind of have a whole business surrounding it now, and they pick a new person to Christmas Carol every year. And the movie stars Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. Will Ferrell, who already has some Christmas movie success, playing Buddy the elf in Elf, and Ryan Reynolds, who brings a lot of Deadpool energy to this movie, and he's kind of playing our new Scrooge in this world. But the coolest thing about it is that it is the closest thing to a Broadway musical I have ever seen put to film, maybe before the Wicked movie. The music for this show was written by Pesek and Paul, who wrote Dear Evan Hansen. They also did the movies La La Land and The Greatest Showman. Showman. And they have just brought some really, really incredible music to this. I actually haven't liked their music for a long time. I thought that Dear Evan Hansen and The Greatest Showman really sounded very similar and were both kind of boring. I actually have music directed Pesek and Paul's version of James and the Giant Peach, which is way early in their career, and I think that is really incredible music. They did a great job. And then I think for Dear Evan Hansen and Greatest Showman, they were really trying, to have some Oscar bait, some Tony bait, and I don't like those musicals as much. But I think that Spirited is a return to form. But the coolest thing about this movie, you really have to watch it. The music is great to listen to, but the choreographer, Chloe Arnold, is such an amazing tap dancer, and she has combined all of these beautiful styles of dance into this film, and the cinematography marries with the choreography in a way that I have never seen
recorded before. It is one of the best movies, I think, in the past decade. It is, I don't know that it's really a family movie. There's some language, there's some deep themes, but I suggest that if you haven't seen Spirited, find a way to watch it, because it is maybe my favorite Christmas movie of all time at this point.
So here we are with the finished yarn. This one is really heavy, really drapey. The mohair, the alpaca, the llama, they all offer this really heavy sense of drape, and they're all dense fibers, so you end up with less yardage for the same amount of weight, just because the fiber themselves are so heavy. This is also a yarn that doesn't fluff up at all. I find these fibers kind of hard to spin in general. They're very slippery, so unless you're really spinning a lace weight, it's nice to spin either from the fold or to make a rolag first, but I didn't do that. And I also ran into a little bit of issue where some of the fiber lengths, the staple lengths, were not the same, where they had a little bit of like a mohair second cut. So I had sections where I had to really slow down and try to eke out the right thickness, but I think it turned out pretty well. And I'm gonna pair this with white. I think that's just a really classic look. I like the idea of it being in black and white because it's so old, and I think it just is gonna match the vibe. And I think there's enough contrast there. Sorry, I was just checking to see the contrast. I think there's enough contrast there that it's gonna turn out well. I keep looking at it because it's so pretty. You've got these really subtle variegations, and when we knit it up, we're also going to see very subtle stripes. We can't really see them right now, just out as it is, but you will see those slight color variations show up as very gentle stripes in the final sock. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about one of my new favorite Christmas classics for this year, the musical Spirited, and I will be back tomorrow with the finished stocking for day 7 to open day 8. See you there. Bye.